What comes to mind when you hear these words? Cut costs, cancel subscription, and the ultimate, budget. No, no, no. Those painful reactions are not what frugal living is about. Believe it or not, it can be incredible. Seriously. And guess what else you can do? Make Mother's Day special. Find out how in the special edition for the mothers. See you there, Friday at 3 p.m. Can you be a hero? You, a mother? That depends. What is a hero? Someone who pushes beyond physical limits? Sounds like you. Someone who sees danger from a mile away? You do that. Someone who absorbs the world's information just to share it freely? Also you. Someone who gives herself up for her loved ones to shine? You. Someone who deals with the pain, hits her limits and pushes past it, dreaming, investing, sacrificing. You. Someone who earns every single kiss. So, can you be a hero? If you can't, no one can. Happy Mother's Day, with love from women to women.
Hello friends, thank you for stopping by our program today of Woman to Woman. I'm sure you will enjoy it immensely, and I would just like to take the opportunity to share a word of encouragement with you, to all mothers, whether you're a biological mom or you didn't give birth to any children, but you are with the responsibilities of caring to those entrusted in your care. I know it's been difficult. There have been challenges. You feel hopeless. You feel as if you can't go on. You feel as if when things will come to an end. But I am here to share a word that brought hope to those who received it way back when. In the book of Hebrew, chapter 10, verse 35, the Apostle Paul wrote to those who were hard-pressed and facing quite a lot of difficulties. But that word that he gave to them gave them hope and encouraged them to keep going on. And I do hope that the same would happen to you. You will find the word in Hebrews chapter 10, verse 35, and it says, "Therefore, do not cast away your confidence, which has great reward." And maybe that's all you have at this moment. So hold on to it, keep trusting in God, and He will definitely, without a doubt, come true to you. You don't know where the help will come from, you don't know when it will come, but it's always darkest before the dawn. So hold on to your confidence, keep trusting, keep believing, and you will see the results. All right? Continue to enjoy the rest of the program, and until next time, bye-bye.
We are women. We are brave, strong, capable, unique. We are Women to Women.
Good afternoon, South Africa, and welcome to the month of May. When we talk about May, we think about brides, wedding, and mothers. That's the reason why we need to think carefully about savings. And that's the reason of our show today. We are going to talk about frugal living tips. You probably never heard of it, or you heard and don't know exactly what it is, but I found a beautiful definition to share with you. It is the act of being very intentional with your spending, because you have a goal, you have an objective. It's not just because you want to save for the sake of saving, but you need to achieve something greater. So then you're going to purpose to save in every way possible, to downsize your expenditure. And of course, don't forget about our tips on budgeting, especially the Christian budget. It's going to help you a lot in that, so you can achieve your goal, that special purchase, or many other things that lately we know it's really necessary, like to pay debts, for instance.
Special announcement. We interrupt the show for an incredibly important moment. This moment is for you, mothers.
Hi everyone, my name is Tina from Cape Town. As you know, the 8th of May is Mother's Day. This special day cannot be forgotten. So we decided to go out and ask mothers what they want for Mother's Day and what Mother's Day means to them. So this is what they had to say. Take a look.
What does it mean to be a mother to you?
To be a mother, wow. A mother, it means to be a shield, to be a protector, to be a safe space, and to be a listener, a good one indeed.
To advise them, to tell them the truth about life.
To have children, it's something that is, it gives you fulfillment. Let alone that at the end of the day, at sometimes, like myself, I have mother of 4. With some of them, they give me that fulfillment of being a mother. I become so happy to be a mother with them. Even those that are troublesome, you know, when you think about your child, to say, today she is like this, but I know that God tomorrow will change him to be somebody else.
Sure, to be their mother, I think, is a blessing for me. And when when your children are still small and grow, when you see your children now are going to school, and then you see your children are success, they are passing to going to school and they are having a very good education. I like that so much, because when your children have an education, there's a key for them. And you as a mother, you want your children to grow and get better life to them, you know, for themselves.
Being a mother means that not only your child is your child, but every child that you meet is your child.
What does Mother's Day mean to you?
Mother's Day means a day of appreciation, that because as a mother you also have a mother, an appreciation of saying, mother, we see you, we know that you are there, and we thank you for being there for us, we thank you for taking care of us.
So what would you like to get as a gift from your loved ones for Mother's Day?
Wow, the gift that I wanted to have as a gift is if they can have the Holy Spirit, then it's a great gift for me. They have cars, they have everything in this world, but none of this, they will save their soul. So I want them to have the salvation of their soul.
Yeah, you know, a gift from my children, there's nothing else other than to someone who will say to me, I love you, Mom. You know, that gift, it makes you so happy.
Any kind of a gift, as long as it's especially for mom.
Wow. First thing, I want to sit down with my children. They must cook a nice food, and then I can be able to know them very well. I can even understand them. Maybe it's the time they can be able to be open to me. So everyone is free once we are sitting together.
When we have that time around the table, so we have a lot of laughter, telling stories, and So it is quality time for us as a family.
You have heard it. The mothers seem to be really excited for Mother's Day, and I really do hope that they get all that they wished for. So I would like to take this opportunity to wish a happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
This special day indeed cannot be forgotten. I hope all children were listening and taking note to what mothers would want on this special day. Well, that's it from me. Back to studio.
We are going to help you with tips. And I want Tammy to start talking about food.
Okay, when it comes to food, this is where a lot of waste happens. So in order to avoid waste, you will need to do meal planning. This helps you so that you can know what to shop for, because a lot of people, they go shopping without a list because they didn't do a proper meal planning, and they buy things that they don't need. So then they are wasting money. So that is not living that is not frugal living. And as well, you might need to cook in bulk. So depending on the size of the family that you have, it will depend on how much you will cook. So whatever you buy, you just need to make sure that it is enough for the family that you have. So don't buy more than what you need. And another tip as well is for you to check the expiry date. That is very important. Personally, when I go shopping, especially for things like milk and bread, I always look for the one that takes longer to expire. So I know that it's always at the very, very back of the fridge. Then I check, and then I check the dates that will take longer to expire. And this is very important when it comes to food, because in South Africa, we waste a lot of food. I just found out that we waste yearly about 10 million tons of food goes into waste, which is an equivalent of 10 billion kilograms.
Can you imagine how many people could be fed with that waste? Of course, not being a waste, but could be helped with hampers, with donations of vegetables. And instead, all of that goes to the rubbish.
And in rands, it equals to 61.5 billion rands a year that we waste in food. So meal planning is very important, knowing what to buy and shopping around as well when it comes to food for specials. It is very important so that you can not waste money. A lot of people, they think that by buying expensive brands of food will make them, I don't know, they always think that it tastes different from the generic brand, but it's mostly made from the same factory. So it's just the brand. Maybe the one that you buy, the packaging is beautiful, so you think that maybe I should buy this expensive one, whereas you could buy the one that does not have a brand, that like the no-name one. So it is very important for us to understand when it comes to food to avoid wastage, because that is a lot of money that is going down the bin. And South Africa has over 1 million people who go to bed every day hungry. So, and we are the largest country in Africa that wastes food.
That's so sad.
Yes, it is something that we really have to think about. Don't buy what you don't need. Always make sure that with meal planning, you know exactly what to buy and how much you need to buy.
What I did at home once, because sometimes we share houses with other people when we were seeing a waste on vegetables. And we tend to think, oh, the speck of tomato, shame. It got spoiled and it to throw away. But I started showing the amount that equals to that pack of tomatoes. So instead of throwing away the small pack of tomatoes, I got a bill of 20 rand and I threw away in front of that person I needed to set the example for. And of course, none of us would have the courage to throw away 20 rands, 50 rands, but that's exactly what we're doing when we are allowing food to expire. Think about a pack of yogurts that you don't look at the expiry date. And of course, no one will be able to drink once it's sour. It's even dangerous to our health. So you imagine, instead of throwing away those small containers, getting a bill and throwing away, would you have the same courage or the lack of attention to that. But I want you to talk about a second tip. When we think the basics we need, food comes first, always. But when you think about clothing, it's another area that we spend a lot of money, and many times unnecessarily. Because what drives us is fashion. All of us want to dress what is in fashion. Fact is, what is in fashion today will not be in fashion next week. And when you are intentionally decided to save, you have to let go some of those trends. And you have to apply your money in what really will withstand the challenges of time. You know, those basics that season in, season out, that are always in fashion. They are the classics. So you can spend with the classics and you can repurpose some of your clothes. How do you repurpose? You can shorten the length of a dress or a skirt. You can cut, instead of a long sleeve, you can make it a 3/4 or a short sleeve. You can add a little lace that is going to change the style of that top. You have a cardigan and you used it before open, but now you're going to button it and you're going to put a belt on it. You repurposed and you shop within your wardrobe. So if you are going to spend with clothes or shoes, you're always going to prioritize the classics, the one you can use throughout the year and that you can use for years to come. That's another tip. Now you think about all your wardrobe. You have to select wardrobe staples, the very important piece. Those that were fashion, how can you reinvent? And by doing so, you are going to shop in your wardrobe and you're not going to pay the same price.
We also have those who want to have fun, but it's costly at first if you don't plan it well. But in nowadays, after the lockdown, 2 years with a very restricted life, now you can go out, you can visit parks, and we have even the good news outdoors, you don't need to wear the masks.
So that is the best for us.
They really want to go out. But then thinking about saving, now you need to plan it well. You can visit a park where you are not going to pay the entrance fee. Instead of going to a restaurant, so you make a picnic with your family. Or you have movies, even inside the house. While you are going to be there together, you will pop your own popcorn. Even in my house, I have those big buckets of popcorn that when we want to have fun, we just pop the popcorn, and in front of the TV, we just having fun. So you can plan it better, and you can have fun with your kids. You can go walking just for ice cream instead of having the whole meal. Or you can cook little things using this plan that Tom shared, and you are going to make fruit salad. You are going to create things that you are not going to spend. All the time when you cook, it's much better, you save much more than when you go. You prepare your own sandwich when you are going out. So you get your, maybe people say, but I take scafftin the whole week. Now you are asking me to, but prepare in a basket, something that it will be beautiful, together with the kids, with the family. Throw there a beautiful cloth on the grass and have fun the whole day. They're talking instead of being inside of a shopping mall that you need to wear the mask indoors. And then you need to pay, you see.
And then you are tempted to buy something.
Yes, the clothes, the beautiful clothes, when it's there in the display, they are so beautiful, you take home, it doesn't look beautiful anymore. Then you save in this way as well, and you have fun. So you don't need to restrict yourself. You can go to the frugal plan and have fun without having costs.
This tip you gave, it plays twofold. You save and you still get closer to your family. You can't speak in a shopping mall. But when you are in a picnic that you only have those family members sitting around the picnic basket, that is quality time. So actually you're saving twice.
Another part of frugal living, which is very important, I think sometimes people overlook it. And it's something that we spoke a little bit about when we spoke about budgeting before and lifestyle creep, is that it's very important for us, for anyone, to buy a vehicle that you can afford or buy a pre-loved vehicle. For some reason, we think brand new is the way to go. Like, no, I need to have a brand new car. I need to have a brand new this, brand new that. But I read a quote by someone, and I don't know who the person who wrote that article, but they said the difference between a brand new car and a pre-loved car, in South Africa we'd say a second-hand car, is emotions. Because a new car boosts your ego, it boosts your confidence. However, it doesn't do anything different in terms of what a pre-loved vehicle will be able to do. And someone will be like, oh, but it has this feature and that feature. Today, all of those features, a car that they were even advising that a car that is 3 years old will still have the latest features without having the price tag of a brand new car. Because the minute you drive that brand new car out of the lot, it depreciates. You can go by the traffic light and turn back to the dealership. It's not worth what you paid for it anymore. They won't buy it back at the amount that they sold it to you. By simply driving out and coming back, it has lost value. And this person also gave an example of how people purchase pre-loved homes all the time. When you buy a new home, it's new to you, but most of the time, someone else lived in that home before you came. Very few people buy new builds, and yet a home will appreciate in value. And so when we think about it, why do we not have a problem with buying a home that will appreciate in value, and yet we always have a problem with buying a vehicle that was pre-loved, and we know that a brand new one is going to depreciate in value. So this is something very important. I think in South Africa, I believe in other parts of the world as well, we have seen many times where perhaps people who were in the entertainment industry, or they were, their lives were celebrated for one reason or the other. They were famous and they were purchasing and driving, the big cars, living extravagant lives. And after some time, when their careers end, when they pass away, unfortunately, you hear sad stories where the people online have to be donating money to help this person because they are really down and out. And I think this is where the show on budgeting and even these tips come in, because the beauty of frugal living is that you don't have to live cheap. You just decide what is important to you. And going back to a show that we had previously, that you can always have something that when you retire, you fell back on. So things like, brand new cars that depreciate in value, that's not going to help you find financial freedom. If anything, you're going to be paying this amount of money for a car that's no longer worth what you're actually paying for it. So pre-loved vehicles, obviously you need to check it that it's in good condition, all the
roadworthy.
Safety, it's roadworthy, all the safety features are still there. However, there really is no difference. Like this person said, the difference between a new car and a pre-used one is emotions. That's all.
What is interesting about the frugal living is that a very positive connection. People sometimes criticize it and take it as if it was being stingy. But as a matter of fact, it's not. You have a purpose, and it's worthy to save for that purpose you have. So before we go on with some of the tips, I wanted to invite you to think about your financial goals and a purpose. What would be your purpose? For some would be to buy a home, because they have been living out of rent. And I saw recently one of these placards on the road, and they were announcing a rental of 14,000 rand a month. So if you have to pay 14,000 rand a month for a rented house, why not building up some money, saving for a down payment, and applying for a bank loan and paying a house of your own? It might be a bit smaller. It might be a cluster, a townhouse, but it's yours. Spending 14,000 on a rent, you really need to have a serious reason for that. You just here temporarily, you are preparing to migrate. That would be the reason I would think about. Or you are building and all of a sudden they are delayed with the project, so you have to rent for some time. But just to pay rental for that sake, you could have a house of your own. That would be your goal. That would be your purpose.
And another one that a lot of people actually overlook is insurance and medical aids as well. And as I'm listening to everybody talking, I'm thinking of how with the food that we're eating today, and unfortunately, food isn't as healthy as it used to be in the past. But oftentimes we see people looking for a proper medical aid that it can actually cover their entire family. So you'll hear a person say, no, when we get sick, then we will go to the hospital or we will go to the doctor, but not weighing out how much the cost is actually of getting proper medical care and being attended to, because that's where we find the huge influx in our public sectors. But if people were to just step back, because a lot of people think, oh, medical aid is expensive, but not all of it is expensive. You can find something that suits the number of people that you have in your family, the basic needs that we could cut down on this by us having it covered by our medical insurance. That helps a lot. And it's not about going for the most popular one like some people think, because when people think medical aid, the first thing they all go for is the huge brand names. But even within that, you can actually still go for that, but they have different plans inside. And when you shop around the plans, you'll find out that they waver between, like there's a difference between others. So maybe, let's say medical aid A has the same benefits as C does, but C is actually a whole lot lesser, maybe like 100 Rand less. You can think, oh, 100 Rands, what's 100 Rands? It actually counts a lot. It's a lot of things that can be done with that 100 Rands. When we think of people purchasing cars, it's one sad reality that we see that in South Africa, I think the most frightening thing is getting into a car accident. Because yes, people have cars, but car insurance is something else. And you'll hear a person saying, no, it's expensive. But if you go and shop around and look around, you don't know the reasons why it's expensive. For example, it will be higher for a first-time driver, a person that lives maybe in a high accident risk zone. But people don't want to look into that. But if you just go into that and think, okay, how about I weigh out all of these benefits? We even in South Africa, I'm not sure about other countries, we even have them competing on TV where they say, come and compare yours with us and we'll give you...
We cover the offer.
We'll cover the offer or we'll give you something back. And there is always an upside to actually having some sort of insurance, because when the tax year comes, there is actually something that you get back in return. But people actually don't actually want to go that route because they think, no, it's my money. I want to spend my money. I will save the way I want to save. But sometimes when unfortunate circumstances come, you don't really have control. But when you have just that little backup, you know that at least it can help until a certain point. So I think comparing medical aids and your insurances will be something that really helps you a lot. And today we have a variety of insurances. But in South Africa, sadly, I think the one we all work hard for is the funeral one. But I think we need to also now work on the other ones that will keep us alive and save us, because in that then you'll be able to do all the things like Silmara and Dumi and Tammy and you were mentioning, because when you don't do that, that's where we have the problem when deductions come. People salaries, like in the morning, it's let's say 50,000. By the end of the day, it is 0, and the person is stressed because they choose not to have that balance. They actually want to be extravagant in everything, and no one lives that way.
Another thing we need to remind you about: medical insurance, medical aid, car insurance, any sort of insurance, and even funeral plans. There is never 100% coverage. There is always a share of it that you still need to top up. So sometimes people see in those installments and say, but I'm covered. As a matter of fact, you are not. There will be a share of it that you still need to add on. And if you go to the most expensive one, when you need to complete either for consultation, for blood tests, or for an accident that you have, you're going to be short of money.
Yes, and I think it also counts in when there's also trial versions that you can do with some companies. So when you're in the trial version, they actually give you the opportunity to see what do you actually use more and what don't you use more. So then from that, they're able to actually even deduct it for you and make it even much more cheaper. So I think that's actually a very good tip, because a lot of people will think, I have medical aid, it covers everything, but no, it doesn't. Or I have a car and everything will be covered, and you don't really read the fine print. So I think educating yourself on what the plan is, what it offers, what it covers, and what your contribution fees will be will also help you a lot.
I think something else I could add with when I was talking about the depreciation of the value of vehicles and insurance is that we do have certain companies in South Africa that offer a different type of insurance. What we're used to is that with vehicle insurance, every year their premiums increase because we know that things become more expensive. So there's a certain percentage of increase that most insurances will add every year. However, every year the value of your vehicle depreciates, although the value of the cost of your premium is increasing. There are certain companies that actually do the opposite, that your premium has to do with the value of your vehicle. Because if I have insurance with company A, and let's say I was paying 90 rands every month, after 5 years, and now I'm paying 140 because every year there was an increase, but the value of my car has depreciated. When I get into an accident, yes, by more than half really. When I get into an accident, they're not going to pay me at the value that my car was insured for when I first bought it. They are going to pay me the value of that car at the time of the accident. So sometimes you can shop around and find, I'm not going to mention company names, but you can do your research and compare and find those companies that your premiums will decrease year on year according to the decrease of the value of your vehicle. And that can save you money, that instead of paying more, when you're paying less, you can save that money to be able to use it for other important things that are coming up, because cost of living goes up all the time. So if this premium is
post-pandemic,
yes. So if the premium is decreasing because you are with that type of company that decreases according to the value of your car, then you have that extra to save it towards something that you need, or maybe you were having a shortfall so you can cover something else.
I was thinking to add as well, when it comes to medical aid, a lot of people, they exhaust their medical aids because they're always sick. And I checked as well some comparisons. In a year, many people, they work, there's like 260 working days. So a lot of people, they don't pack lunch, so they choose to buy takeaways. And I did my calculations with the most famous takeaway restaurants that we have. And in a year, it is possible for a person to spend up to 15,000 rands on takeaway only if they go to work without packing lunch. So it is a lot of money that they spend on takeaways, and of course the calories, and you will get sick. And I was reading a quote as well that says, if you think wellness is expensive, try illness. It is more expensive than wellness. So a lot of people, they will say, but I can't eat healthy because it is more expensive. But being ill and spending more money on your medical aid, and then you exhaust it, and then you still have to pay extra for hospital bills, it is better that you pack your own lunch and you use the food that you have, that you know that it is healthy. I prepared it in my own house.
And you will save quite a lot of money. It goes back to food saving. When when you buy bulk and you stock at home your coffee, your milk, your cold drink, it's one price. The minute that you forgot to take my water, and you go to the corner in a small place and you buy a bottle of water, probably you're going to be paying 30% more for the same product that you just had at home. So now in everything that you do, eating out every day, not packing your lunch, and choosing to eat from restaurants every day, it's a lot of money that you are spending and you are not aware of that. But when you put to the calculator, you see how much more you can do. So the show today is to trigger in you that sense of, what can I do if I start saving with a purpose? So more than often I'm going to say, what would be your purpose? Some more tips to go to help you with that.
Yeah, we have also the loyal cards, who never have or like to have. I have a lot of them.
Yes.
wherever you go, they give you some points, or you go to visit somewhere, they give you the card that they stamp each and every time for the car wash. For example, the 5th time you come, you have a free washing. So in this way, you save as well, because you are always conscious. You go to a place that you are faithful to that place, but it comes with a return. So when we think about Balkan, as well as think when we talk about food, if you have a friend and you go together, maybe you look to the quantity of a bag of potato is too much for your family alone. But if I go together with Precious, then we share it. Then we will also help. So when we think about this way of living, that for me was so amazing. I have to say, I had to do a research. I didn't know it before. And I really needed to do a research. And I found interesting, because when we look for companies after the lockdown, and we are still under some restrictions, they need to replan. However, human being doesn't want to do that. They want to continue living in their way. So they need now to stop. And as the companies, they are replanning now, they are cutting costs, they are going to this way. As a person, we need to do that. So most of the time when you go to the supermarket, to the shopping, you say, no, I don't want to get this card because I need to fill up my name. I need to do that card.
Gladly. Because when my cashbacks come, I can use them wisely.
You will lose maybe 5-10 minutes to fill in, but that will come with a benefit, because you will receive then something in return. And there are many shops that they are doing that, and it's worth of applying yourself and get that card. Yes, you have a lot of cards inside of a wallet, but no problem.
Oh, but you can download apps now. There's an app. You don't need to have a lot of them. Like, I have like...
That is a new generation.
Yes, so there's an app that you get, and you actually load all of your loyalty cards on it. So when you get to the pay point, you just put it there.
So you need to teach me after, friend.
We will have some class here after the show. Don't worry. We can teach you as well, tutorials.
I think another one that I love, and I think the problem is when people think of frugal living, they think cheap. They think of it in a negative aspect. And it's not. It's quite positive, actually. And one of the things that I remember growing up was that my mom always did my hair. But when I grew up and started making my own coin on the side, I was like, no, I can pay someone to do this for me. But the truth is, when you actually put yourself at the risk of a hairdresser, especially for us with African hair, a lot goes wrong. Hairlines go missing. You get bald patches. It's too tight. You have to cut your hair. It's a lot. But then when you actually start learning to do it on your own at home, they're laughing because it's like a debate. Whenever we have to think like...
But darling, it's not only African hair. I've had my share of accidents everywhere.
But ours, like the hairline, it seems to be an issue in South Africa. Like... it keeps receding and going backwards. So one of the things that I learned was actually to start doing my own hair. So my treatments, my hair, like my wash days, I do them at home. And you find that it actually saves you actually a lot of money, because what you spend on the product and what you spend in the salon, you get to ask yourself, wait, am I paying for the lights? Am I paying for the water? Am I paying for the
need to make a living as well. That's
right. So you're literally paying for everything in that place, when in fact you can just do it at home. So there are different things. For example, some women prefer having wigs, like myself. So it saves me a lot, because then I know I can change my hairstyle at home anytime without going and risking my hairline in the salon. The second one is actually also that with the products, some people have allergies that they're not aware of, and it damages actually their hair follicles, and you end up spending much more money on fixing that problem, where else if you just took that little time for self-love at home to do it yourself. Is it tedious? Sometimes, yes, it is, especially when you have natural hair. When you think of it, it's like you can escape, relax, do something else. But then when you start seeing the benefits of it, actually, it's even much more good, because then you are in control of what's happening, and you're saving a lot of money as well, because some of